Hi guys, so today I'm going to talk to you about the July 20th update details. So the first thing you need to know is this is one of the smallest batches that has ever been done, and this is because next week season 3 is coming. Basically what they did, well originally what they were supposed to do was give Milky Way an EE, but in truth all they really did was give her a nerf. So let's get into it. The first thing they did was they took her skills. They took Belief of Light, who decreased damage and recovered spirit, and they basically reduced it 10% and 15%, who's basically an actual 25% of the actual base skill, who's actually really bad when you think that that was one of her best skills. And if that wasn't enough, for her Smile Maker, they reduced the time to 6 minutes, who now actually makes it pretty limit to keep it, especially early game. The only buff that was added was when Smile Maker becomes Smile Sprinkler at Extreme Evolution, it gains attack power 15%, but reducing the time 4 minutes basically means you're even having a lower chance to stack the other ones, so it still really feels like a nerf, especially since she's supposed to be run with a Vonchi, who has the highest attack power buff in the entire game. So again, as I'm saying, it is a nerf. This is why they actually added at the end of an EE patch notes, these changes will negatively affect Milky Way, but it's not a recall. So even BB is clearly agreeing that this is a nerf. And a lot of the community got really mad because we've been asking for an EE, we didn't ask for a nerf. And this EE is not even at the level of a compensation of a nerf. So I'm personally thinking of just getting rid of her, and I'm just really mad at what they did. I'm just going to show you after, because the one redeeming quality of this was maybe she gets a good stat boost. So I already have the materials and I'm just going to show you the difference in stats. It sadly isn't even that great. Now, premium skins, these are the ones you buy. There's a Street Fighter Veronica, there's Scorn Light. Now, talking about skins, there has been some skins that were found out that was going to come out next update. I'll put a link in the description. The only thing you want to be very careful at is Metatron is getting a skin. For all those whales out there, that's great. I'm also going to get her because I was planning to buy a pack anyway. But that isn't a purchase event. So for all of you who are going to want to spend money at Season 3, just wait for that purchase event, especially since it seems there's not going to really be a lot of new characters. And from the looks of it, only 2 legendaries will be released at the exit. I think it's Thunder and Andor, but that I don't have confirmation on. Now, another thing that was frustrating was Season 3, we were thinking new players were going to be added at least 5 stars. And as you know, players that are added are always added into the draw event boost. Sadly, they're not there. So we have Rone, she's really good for Andor. Veronica is Season 1, so it's not a big deal. Beatrice Season 1, Sammy Season 1. Asakura Season 2, but she's bad. Shu is only PvE, and Celestia is a good center mid if you don't have Metatron. So basically, if you're Andor, you're going to be happy with this. If you're not, you can scout everything. And Shu and Celestia are maybe not the best legends to spend your crystals on. Now, if we look at the one of August 5th to 6th, we got Jean, Freya, Miho, Milky Way, Lilith, Belle, and Vonchi. So both legends are actually pretty great. So on that note, I would say it's a nice idea if you're trying to run something rainbow to throw them. Vonchi is currently, I think, ranked 1st or 2nd striker in game, so there's no loss there. Freya is one of the only Thunder healers. And there's also Miho, who's also a Season 2 Whirlwind healer and considered the best Whirlwind healer with her Spirit Steel. And there's Milky Way, who I find now insulting, and Lilith, who I personally like, but it really depends how you set her up. We know that the next boss is going to be Vayne Thunder. So luckily they're not going to do a strength usage event because the androids are the best way to get GP. They're playing with a few voiceovers. I don't see the value in this, but I guess. And they fixed a bug where the boxes wouldn't clearly say they were Season 2 or Season 2 only. I'm going to say we don't really care. And the message appears in French, well, knowing that except when I'm doing the streams I'm playing in French, I don't actually notice. By the way, if you are in French, read the events in English. BB keeps making so many mistakes, you don't understand what the event does. Now, as I was saying, I'm just going to show the difference in stat for Milky Way, because I actually run her for once. So, as you can see, the difference in stat is very small. Especially speed, one would imagine is her major stat, only got a 5-point buff. Vitality and techniques were pretty nicely affected, power a bit less, but the speed being closely her lowest stat when she's buffed is kind of sad. She has some manager stuff, but I still find it's pretty low for Milky Way. So let's just check this. And I know there was a lot of questions on her ace and her active who weren't clearly answered in the patch notes for some people, so I'm just going to show those fast. Here, so the max version, as we were saying, is now 45%. The sprinkler is 15 for attack power. Belief of Light is 45. Music Start stayed at 30. And the buff is only 30%. I know some of you were saying 35. It's sadly not the case. Now I'm going to make a second video to talk to you about the Season 3 event, because I know a few people have had problems. Have a good day, guys.